Hello everyone, Tina here. I hope your day is going fantastic. Happy Mother's Day to you all. I hope your weekend is nice and crafty and fun. Thank you for joining me. Today we're going to create a project using the Spellbinders Small Die of the Month Club Kit for May 2020. This month's club kit is called Stacked Decorative Edges, and you are going to love it because it is one of those stash builder die sets that you'll be using over and over again. I'm going to die cut everything out and show you what this set does, starting off with this piece. This has an open end scalloped with dotted detail, and it's very dainty and soft and pretty. I'm going to die cut this out with white cardstock, and you can see it's just basically a border die with an open end. So you can go as tall or as skinny as you want with this, but it's super pretty. I think this die here would be one of your stash staples because, let's face it, you could use a border die over and over. Okay, next, this one is going to be getting a little bit fancier. It's a little bit wider, and I'm going to die cut this out with some yellow cardstock. But this has an open end also, so you can make this as tall or as skinny on your cardstock as you want. I'm going to die cut this out, and you can see how pretty this is. This is so. When I first saw this, I thought this would make a beautiful belly band for a gatefold card, because you could make it 1 inch thick. You could take this piece, flip it around. That's what I'm going to do here. I'm going to actually space it like 2 inches wide, but if you were to space it 1 inch wide, you could create a beautiful belly band with this. Just continue it on a large piece of cardstock. But here is a nice little centerpiece or a decorative edge for your card. So pretty. That's this one. And I love that open edge here. We're going to skip over the straight line die there, and we're going to skip to this one. This one is maybe about a ½ inch wide, and this creates a beautiful decorative edge. If you place it out anywhere on your cardstock, it will die cut out. It won't separate your pieces. So this is super neat. So if we were to raise this in the center, it would create a real pretty strip. I did this with white cardstock, but you can see the detail when I put it behind a colored piece of cardstock. So neat. Okay, so that's this one. Next we're going to go a little bit larger. It's about a 1 inch strip. I'm going to die cut this out here and show you what this one looks like. This does the same as the previous. It die cuts out a pattern inside your cardstock. But this is where I'm going to bring in this die. This is a straight edge cutting die. Now if you use your straight edge die against your border die, it will even, I'm going to call it a spacer die, because it will evenly space the left and right of your border die. I know sometimes when you use your paper trimmer it's a little bit tricky to get it exactly even, but this does it for you. And that's where I thought of too how this would create a real neat, wouldn't that make a pretty belly band on your card? I just love that. But it's a real beautiful decorative edge. You add it to white cardstock or any color really. I think it would just create a beautiful pattern. But that's a real pretty pattern option too. And again, this does the same as the previous. It'll just create a decorative strip on the inside of your card panel. Okay, now if you were to layer all of these 3 largest I'm showing you now together, you would create a beautiful, unique pattern on your panel. I think that would make a real pretty window behind some glittery cardstock. That'd be gorgeous. And you can use your spacer die or strip die to cut out any size panel you want. But if you butt it up against each one of those decorative edges, it's just evenly spaced, and that's what I like. Okay, this one is another one of my favorites. It has like a lattice print. I'm going to die cut this out on the bottom of a piece of banana cream cardstock. I just love the color here. And you can see the lattice detail, and that is gorgeous. I love that. I left a little bit of room. If you wanted to pop your panels up, leave a little bit of room. You can add a real thin strip of foam tape for some dimension. But these can be mixed, matched, layered together, and I love that. It can be used over and over as on creating different ideas and for different projects on your cards. It even comes with a sentiment die. This says thank you, and it's a 2-piece set. It cuts out a rectangle frame, and then this frame would be nice even without the thank you. You could stamp a sentiment in there maybe, but if you layer them both together, that thank you die cuts out the perfect size to fit inside your frame. I did it twice, one with banana cream cardstock and one with white. This way you can flip-flop, create different patterns here. but that's a nice little sentiment that's even in the strip. So super duper neat. I was super excited about this. I have a die set or a die bin on my desk that I use over and over with my rectangle dies and stuff and my border dies, and this set's going in it because I'm sure I'm going to be using it a lot. But super easy to create instant cards. You can see how pretty that is with those two patterns. Just flip-flopping. But for today's card, we're going to make a super simple card using these two pieces, the banana cream and with the white piece. I thought even when you layer them together here, I think that creates a real pretty pattern. Even portrait style or landscape style would be real pretty. For my focal point on my card, I'm going to be using a stamp set that I've had for quite a while. It's from an October 2018 card kit of the month. It's the Watercolor stamp set, and I think that this one is available by itself, and it's very inexpensive. I think it's less than $5, but I love these flowers, and I love how they layer together. So I'm stamping two of them with my banana cream ink on some white cardstock, and then I'm going to take a smaller leaf flourish that's in the stamp set, and we're going to stamp this with my green ink. We'll just stamp this 3 times. I think this is sweet pear ink, keeping the card a little bit soft. Now this stamp set is layerable. It's an inexpensive stamp set, but like I said, it's probably one of my favorites. But I'm going to take an inside piece. We're going to use a slightly darker yellow ink. I'm going to use Haystack. We'll stamp that in the center of each of our flowers. And then there is a dotted detail you can add also for the center of your flowers. Here's the Haystack ink. And then we'll take the dotted detail, and I'm going to use my oatmeal ink pad. Or no, oatmeal cookie ink pad. We'll stamp that in the center. Now the oatmeal cookie ink kind of got a little lost with my Haystack ink, so I'm going to bring in my black licorice. I wanted those little dotted details to kind of to stand out a little, be a little bit more bold. I'll stamp that. The first one, when I stamped, I lost a few of those little dotted circles, but this is so easy to fix. I'm just going to use my black Jelly Roll pen and add a few extra little circles to make it complete again. And we're going to take the scissors and fussy cut each one of these flowers and leaves out. Easy peasy, but very soft, you can see here. Okay, once everything is cut out, we're going to grab our sentiment. There's only one in the stamp set, but I love it. It says, "You help me grow." We're going to stamp that, and then we're also going to take one of the flourishes in the stamp set. For my card base today, it's a standard A2 size card base. It's a side folding one, and I thought it would be really pretty to make a portrait style card, but I wanted a little splash of sparkle in here, so I'm going to be using some whipped cream sparkle tape. Love this tape. It's from Fun Stamper's Journey, and it's called whipped cream sparkle tape. It tears very easy, and all it is glitter washi tape that doesn't shed, which is really nice. I needed 2 layers, and I just taped it down to the right side of my card. The nice thing about this tape too is it has a slight transparency to it, so if you were to put it on the banana cream cardstock, that color would still show through just a bit. So now that we have sparkle on the right side of our card, I'm going to go ahead and glue down my lattice piece here so that sparkle's shining through. I had glue on my desk, so I'm just going to use my glue to adhere it. Lovely. I think that looks so nice. I think I need to weigh this down. Since I'm using glue, I'm just going to use an acrylic block to weigh that down. I love the way this looks though. On our white piece, we're going to stamp our sentiment on the very bottom. We'll just ink that up with our black licorice ink here. Everything that I used today will be listed below, guys, if you were interested. But I love this die set this month. I love die sets that are versatile. Sometimes you have a beautiful die set and you create a project with it, and it just gathers dust bunnies. This is one of those sets you're going to bring out over and over again. I added foam adhesive behind each one of my little flowers here, and normally I would pop this up, but for today I thought, you know, we're going to go ahead and use glue to adhere it directly on the banana cream cardstock. This way, I just like the pattern. Sometimes when you lift it up, the shadows behind it, or not as flattering as you would if you directly adhere it. So we're going to just go ahead and directly adhere this to our colored cardstock. And I think that is so pretty. This would make a great note card set too, guys. Okay, I'm not going to remove the release paper off of my adhesive just yet. I'm going to play around with the placement. And then we're going to take that smaller flourish and ink it up with my black ink. And I'm going to stamp it 1 up here and then 2 just above the sentiment. And I think I messed up by stamping 2 above the sentiment because I couldn't get my placement the way I want it. Visually, for me, I couldn't get my placement the way I wanted it. I kept playing around with the leaves, and I think it was that second stamp that I shouldn't have did. Maybe I should have stamped another flower to cover it up. But as I was looking at it, I thought, you know, we're going to fix it in just a minute. But we're going to add some sparkle first. We're going to bring in some gems. And we're just going to add gems around all of our florals. I thought maybe this would help balance it out a little bit. But to me, it was still missing something. After we have our gems adhered, even sequins would look pretty on this card too, guys. I decided to take some white cardstock, and we're going to stamp that flourish one more time. I needed a little bit of black towards the right for it to be visually pleasing, so I'm going to stamp it and then fussy cut it out. This way I can overlap it on the lattice area and still get that the color a little bit more balanced. And then I was happy with this. Sometimes you just got to play with the placement a little bit until you're happy. We'll just add a little bit of glue, do a little tucking, and then that completes my card for today, guys. Love this set. I hope this gives you an idea on how to use it. Any kind of florals you have would work. But happy Mother's Day to you all. My Mother's Day is going great. I didn't ask for nothing. I just wanted to clean house and be able to craft. So I'm crafting with you today. Have a fabulous day, and we will see you again real soon, guys. Bye-bye.